Hello, my name is Josephine and I'm working with the Saskatchewan German Council with cooking and making nice little videos to show you how a Swabian Onion Pie and Zwiebelkuchen is made. So I will show you what ingredients you will need. This is a little bit a more lengthy process. So we have two major steps for this recipe, and first we need a dough, and second we need the filling for the pie. For the dough you will need about 370 grams of flour, 60 or 40 grams of margarine or butter, some yeast. I used dry yeast today, so I already dissolved it with some water so it's not getting little clumps. You need some milk for the dough, and obviously a little bit of salt, depending on how you want to flavor your first layer, the dough. And then for the filling you need onions, you need a little bit of butter for your pan ladle, you need bacon. So I use usually yellow or white onions because they are mild in flavor. And then I use bacon, about 100 grams, finely chopped. You need then a little bit of salt, depending on how much bacon you use, more or less. Then you need caraway seeds, you need 3 eggs, and you need some sour cream. So the first step, let's do our yeast dough. So I have here my machine and I add whole wheat flour, so that's why my dough will not be completely white. I add the yeast, which is already soaked a little bit so it dissolves better. I will add my butter or my margarine, and if you use salt and margarine, go back on the salt a little bit, but I have unsalted, so I need some salt for my dough. And now I add not all of my milk, but just a part of it, because I don't know yet how much I need. And the soft dough, put in my hook and let it work its magic. So now I'm starting to prepare the filling for our onion pie. And I have a little bit of margarine here, so it's easier on the bacon. And I will just put the chopped up bacon here and broil it until it has a nice color. And I have my 2 finely chopped onions. And it's about a kilogram, depending how much you like onions. You can also use a little bit less if you think that's too much. But most Germans use about a kilogram. And there's also many different onion pie recipes depending on the region you live. So there is in Swabian, that's the one I made. And there's also some more from Frankfurt or other areas. They just vary a little bit in detail, but the principle is very much the same. You have a yeast dough, and then you have onions and bacon, and the small detail then lies into if you use sour cream or how much eggs and such you use, and sometimes other spices. Now I will add my onions. And here the important part is that you don't want the onions to brown too much, but they should be soft and see-through. Then if you have that, that's the best for the cake. So that takes a little bit of while. So our dough has risen, and I just knead it a little bit, not too much, because I don't want to have all the air out. Put the flour on the side, and as you can see, it's nice and brown because I use whole wheat. And I lined baking foam with parchment paper, and I need to get my dough about that size, a little bit larger. So I have a little bit and some dough for the edges.
Teach us some German.
Sorry?
Teach us some German.
Teach us some German. I can teach some German. Dough would be der Teig. Der Teig. And Weizen will be wheat. And Vollkornweizen will be whole wheat. And I have here ein Backbrett, so a baking board, and also ein Nudelholz. Nudelholz, that's our rolling pin, and that should be for the size more or less correct. And I just place it in here, and the rest I will adjust just pulling the dough out. So now I have a bowl here. I have my caraway seeds, my egg, my sour cream, and I just add everything in the larger bowl. And if you want, you can add some salt. I'm always a little bit reluctant to add too much salt because we have already the salt from the bacon. You could add some pepper or paprika powder, depending on your taste, and just mix that a little bit so it's already combined, and add your onion mix, and then you stir it in until it is well combined, and just pour it in. And don't worry if the edges are from your dough are not as high as the filling. It really doesn't matter too much because it will settle anyways because of the eggs, and then you will have no problem getting it out of the foam. And just spread it out, and you see it looked like a lot of onions, but as soon as you fill it in here, it actually is not that thick of a layer. So if everything is nice and level, then you just preheat your oven on about 200 degrees, and as soon as your oven is ready, you put it in the oven for half an hour. So now our onion cake should be done. And be careful taking it out because it is really hot for now. So in Germany we have that onion pie, and we just wait a little bit until it cools down somewhat before serving it, and we serve that onion pie and often with junger Wein, which is basically the fresh wine from this year, and also we serve it with some green salad, so some leafy salad, whichever you like and whichever you prefer.